So start by getting a dress shirt from your local secondhand shop. Aragorn had a couple different shirts in the movie, but I chose to do the red one. So then you'll just cut the collar off the shirt. And then you'll want to flip the shirt over to the back side. That's the side that we'll be using as the front so that you won't see the buttons. And you just want to cut the collar out into a V. You want the shirt to be a V-neck. So for the tunic, cut a piece of fabric a few inches wider than your back. You want it to be from the back of your neck down to about your mid-thigh. Then you'll just cut out a few divots for the armholes. You want those to be about 2 inches in. And then you'll cut a little divot for the neck. And then you'll cut a piece exactly the same size, except without the neck hole. And then you'll just cut that piece straight down the center to give you 2 panels. So then I laid the back piece over the 2 front panels with the wrong sides together, and I just sewed them together at the shoulders, leaving the neck hole open, and then down the sides from the armpit down to about the waist. You want to make sure that you leave the bottom of it open, only sew down to the waist, and then leave the bottom of the tunic open, and of course leave the armholes open. And so then you just flip it right side out, making sure the front panels are on the front. And then where the neck hole is, you just want to cut on the front side, cut that off at an angle. Use the piece you just cut to measure the angle on the other side, so you get matching angles. You want to cut them off so they form a V on the front of the tunic. So then cut yourself some thin strips of the same brown fabric. You're going to use those as ties to close the tunic. You'll put one on each side of the 2 front panels. You'll put those in a couple places, evenly spaced, from about the waist up to the bottom of the V-neck. So here it is with the ties kind of fastened together. So then you'll just get yourself a second-hand belt, and that will go around the tunic as well. So for the bracers, you want to cut a shape that's almost like Superman's crest, because Aragorn's bracers are pointed on both ends. You want to make sure that it's long enough to go from your wrist to your elbow. So you'll cut out 2 of those out of Pellon. Then get yourself some brown distressed fabric. Lay it with the distressed side down. Put your Pellon on the back of it. And then cut out the fabric around it, leaving an inch out round. Then glue the Pellon onto the brown fabric. The back side, of course. And then you just put a little more glue on the edges and fold the fabric over so you can hide the edges on the back side of the bracers. So here's what the bracers look like from the front and back. And so then you just want to put a piece of sticky back Velcro on each of the sides, and you can fold that right around your forearm. And it should come off at a point at your wrist. So for the design, I ended up painting a white tree, which honestly looks nothing like the one in the movie, but since Aragorn had a white tree, I just took a little artistic liberty and did the white tree. And so here's what it looks like when it's finished. For the hair, I had a really hard time finding a decent brown wig, so I just took a long blonde one. And then I got some eye-dye poly, which is about the only thing that will actually dye a polyester wig. Mix them all together in a pot to dye it brown. And then I hung it outside on a stick to dry. And once it was dry, I kind of styled it a little bit, tucking it away from the face so it wouldn't be hanging right in the face. And then I just sewed the pieces back away from the face with a little bit of brown thread. Then I just took a pair of scissors and cut the bottom and sides into a somewhat Aragorn-looking shape. And so then here is Jared in the finished Aragorn costume.